Hi, welcome back to Road to Global. This video is going to be about the fundamentals behind Execs and how you can use them to consistently provide results for your team in terms of taking a bomb site. In an Exec, the primary goal is to set up favorable gunfights for your team and entry fraggers, and we're going to do this in three main ways. Firstly, ensuring numbers advantages by playing the rotation game. Secondly, nullifying powerful positions that the CTs may be holding with utility. And thirdly, isolating duels and trade fragging, which we can do through well planned out entry pathing. When trying to ensure a numbers advantage, you want to be playing the information game to ensure that the enemy doesn't have a good enough read on you to set up an educated stack on where they think you might be going. Ideally, they shouldn't know where you're going until you're throwing the first piece of util or getting contact on the first player. If it happens before then rotations will be early and they'll be able to stack the site beforehand, or they'll have players in position to throw counter utility from close enough behind the site. This requires you as a terrorist site to be very good at transitioning quickly from spread out where you have map control into position to exec, so that players on the other side of the map can't do fast info plays to get information on you when you've left this area. Now, a numbers advantage is not entirely necessary for a bomb site exec, but it is favorable in the majority of cases. There are, albeit some situations that I would exec onto a stacked bomb site, notably A on overpass, as I feel that the positions here are quite limited for the CTs to defend if you have a decent enough set of util for taking the site. So if you put these two smokes down, get a molly here, and then a decent flash to deal with truck, there really isn't anywhere else they can be. Now, once you're in position and you're starting to hit the site, you need to think of a way to deal with rotations, as the players will start rotating once they have the info. We're talking about Execs in this video, so primarily we'll be blocking off rotation points with smokes and molotovs. For A site on overpass, you'll be smoking off these two areas. For B site on overpass, you'll be getting a smoke into heaven, alongside most likely a Molotov towards CT here, which will stop players from rotating in too easily. Now, if you've done everything correctly up to this point, and you've ensured a numbers advantage, and that it's going to stay a numbers advantage, then you're ready to hit the site. When you do this, you need to try and mitigate all the things that the CTs are going to do to try and give themselves advantages while holding the site. I outlined three of these things in the CT setups video, and for a quick refresher, those were CT info plays, bait and switch setups, and setups or crossfires. CT info plays can either be on the other side of the map or directly into you. Putting it simply, to avoid the plays on the other side of the map, you need to be able to transition quickly and quietly away from the spots where you're holding map control into the spot where you want to be execing from. Doing this quickly means that you're going to reduce the time window in which they're able to push into an area and clear it out. And once they've cleared it out, that's when they're going to have the info that they can rotate back up. So the faster and the less time you spend away from this position before you exec, the less likely that they'll be pushing at this timing. If an info player is on your side of the map, you need to be prepared to deal with it. This could be either having a player anti-flash, watching out for a flash aggression, or having a player in a pushed up position that's easily defensible, so that he's likely to catch out any CTs trying to make aggressive maneuvers. If you do end up getting pushed into, then it's going to change the situation, as they will have info on you, but you're going to already have found your entry if you trade out at least on this guy pushing up, and then there will be only one person left on the site, so you should be able to push in and trade out to get this guy without having to worry about setups, etc. But you'll need to do this quickly because the rotations will be coming in, so it becomes a bit of a different situation, but that's the proper reaction in the general case. When we enter the site, we want to try and isolate duels with the CT defenders one by one. This can be done with a combination of purposeful utility, a good entry route, and sound trade fragging. By purposeful utility, I mean util that's well timed and well directed to support the players as they enter the site. You want to use Molotovs to target areas that the entry fraggers don't want to have to clear, so they can turn their backs to them as knowing that they're already clear, and you want to use flashes to flash areas that the entry fraggers are about to clear, so that they can push in and have assistance in their entry duels. Now clearly this utility is going to be very closely linked to your entry route and the timing of your entry route, so you're going to have to plan out how you're going to do that beforehand. Most of my practice when it comes to sorting out execs is working out exactly how the util is going to go with the entry route, and how the timings work together, and how strict and how loose you have to be between different bits. There's going to be a Molotov towards the back of default. There is going to be a smoke bank and a smoke stairs to cut off rotations. And the flashes are going to pop here and here to punish CTs playing tucked in this position, and also playing around the truck position, trying to get duels in this way. So we're going to have two terrorists going in the entry route, and they're going to be going up this way, up to here to truck, and then jumping over and clearing the left side. But really, with the util already down, the only thing that they can really be playing on A site is here, because normally you just otherwise be playing here, or maybe on the side of long, but assuming we have a long player, we can deal with that and trade out on it, or at least know that he's not there, because if this guy's seen it already. So the main thing is going to be the timing of the flashes and the timing of the person running up. So the first flash is going to pop around here, and this is going to be as this player is running up to this spot before he peeks anywhere towards the center of the site. So he goes into here, and as he's peeking this corner, we're going to have a flash popping right here that's going to blind everyone around this area in the site, and then we're going to assist that gunfight. The second flash is going to come over around here so that this player can come up and then catch people in here and in here as he's rounding this corner, because these are the two main danger points for this entry route. This player is going to be playing with a player behind him, but that's how the flashes and util work together, because as this player's here, if there was a player still on default and we didn't have this Molotov, then we would have to worry about both this position and this position and this position as rounding this, whereas just having to worry about these two makes it a lot easier, especially when there's a trade fragger coming in, and also not having to worry about your back reduces the chance of a crossfire. So that's what we're breaking up here. Now, on top of this, if you can trade out evenly on a site where you have a numbers advantage, then you can think about it conceptually that you will gain the site 100% of the time, just because you have more players than them and you have more bodies to be able to throw at them. And if you're trading out evenly, that means you're going to end up with more players by the end of it. This is obviously not always perfect, so you're going to be doing this maybe 80 to 90% of the time. And let's say your util is more effective on some setups than others. So let's say that your util is going to be working against 80 to 90% of the setups if it's good enough, or maybe 70 to 75%. So you still have pretty decent odds, even though it compounds down a little bit, to getting the site pretty consistently, and your odds in a post plant are going to be much better, especially in a site like A overpass, where you can play post plants from further up and it's really difficult for the CTs to get back in. Now what we're trying to work towards is making your worst case scenario as good as possible. So having your worst case scenario being getting the site is a really good thing to work towards, and in the best case scenario you'll just be banging off everyone's heads and you'll just be getting the site for free. So trying to raise your floor as high as you can is really a good thing to work towards, especially for fundamental CS. Trade fragging also isn't something that comes very naturally to many people from playing Face-It Pugs, but I find that trying to get it to instill it during Execs when you're training people, doing dry runs and things, it's one of the easiest controlled environments to do it, because people with their entry routes are able to, you know, be reminded they need to be this close to this person at this time, and the timings are all relatively precise so that people can focus on it, compared to in a random game when you're just running around. So, in summary, to exec a site, first you need to gain a numbers advantage through playing the info game and transitioning effectively from spread to grouped up. Then you need to make sure that your util is dealing with rotations. And finally, your entry routes should be combined with purposeful utility and should be practiced outside the server to ensure spacing is good and entry fragging is consistent. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.